Hey everyone, Aaron Stewart with the Little Black Couch. Just wanted to jump on live here again, do a quick little video. I know I promised yesterday that we'd talk a little bit about goals, setting goals, and how we as entrepreneurs can leverage setting goals to actually get something done and do it in the right way. There's been a lot of research about how to do goals and accomplish goals the right way. And so we want to get into that now, and we will do it after our little intro. All right, there we go, the little intro. So great to be with you today. It's something that this whole idea of setting goals, we know that it's important. So I'm gonna just a little story. So back in my university days, my dissertation was on the effects of education on one's entrepreneurial perception, and it proved to have a very positive correlation. We've talked about that. And so that was exciting, right? To think that we could actually go out and provide education, literally teach people to fish, right? Instead of giving them fishes, and that they would then have this greater entrepreneurial, perception about where they were living and becoming a small business owner and going out and figuring out how to be successful. That was at least what we hoped and what I had hoped that this research finally proved, that like, look, let's not quit throwing money at third world countries, and let's really focus our money on and our resources on providing some education. And we've seen some really cool things happen to provide that, right? Where we do some microloans now. My dad's been involved in a lot of different charities that have built a school in Ghana, and they did a lot of really cool microloans down and through South America, and now they're in India. And so we have this really cool opportunity to provide education and then change a person's perception about the opportunities they have before them, and hopefully change their lives, right? Come up with some ideas. And so the idea then became, and where my sort of research started kind of going from there, is how best do we do that? How best do we educate these people and help them to become entrepreneurs and be successful? And so that's kind of where things went. Now that kind of takes you into this whole idea of setting goals and keeping motivated and all that. So that's where I have had to hang out for a while, because it's not enough just to know that education provides one more entrepreneurial perception. What do you do with that? What do you do with that new, what do you do with that new set of ideas? How do you get them to the next step? And so that's where we've been hanging out. And there's been a lot of research. There's been I thought this was funny. I found this in Inc. magazine the other day, that some research done in the University of Scranton, and all of us who are Office fans think that the University of Scranton must be made up, right? That can't be a real university. But anyway, it is. And they have this research that 92% of us do not achieve our goals, right? We hear how important goal setting is. We're told to make goals. January 1st, we've got a pile of them, right? That's where most people sign up for gym memberships. We start the year with these amazing intentions, these goals, and we set them up, and then 92% of us don't follow through and we don't accomplish any of them. And what does that cause for the population? Well, there's a lot of problems that come psychologically that come from not accomplishing your goals, right? You lose some self-esteem, self-confidence, some depression moves in, frustration. If you're an entrepreneur, you start thinking that you can't do it, and you go out and start looking for a job at Burger King or wherever else. Not that I am, not to disparage Burger King. The flame broiled, I'm on board with. Love it. Okay, but we have these ideas that, these goals that when they're not accomplished, it can be quite damaging, especially when you're trying to create some momentum to try to get some of these things done to be successful. Okay. So there's been a lot of research and a lot of talk. Stephen Covey, who lived here locally. He did a lot of the seven habits of effective people and was quite famous for that. And that was very helpful in helping. We had these planners, we had these great things that kind of came out to try to help us achieve our goals. We have, I use this things program. It has a little task list on it. So that's kind of the history of how things went. We learned that having goals was important. And we learned that the 8% who actually achieved their goals accomplished a lot more than the rest of us, right? So now we thought, oh, it's goals, right? You got to have goals. Well, 92% of us who set goals still don't accomplish that. So how much better off are we? I'm guessing that 8% probably was already doing goals anyway. And the 92% of us that can't seem to get our goals accomplished probably weren't accomplishing anything along those lines anyway. We're just sort of existing and getting through our lives. So then what do? Well, there's been a lot of research and books and a lot of experts that have come out and said, hey, what you do is you have to set up goals that are specific but challenging, but not too hard, right? That's what this article says, right? Specific, challenging, but not too hard. So I don't know how you get challenging but not too hard, but that's what they're recommending. And if you do it that way, if you take these big, huge goals that you want to accomplish and you reduce them down into more sort of bite-sized pieces, which we then became to call tasks, right? And so we have the whole concept of tasks, and then we have the Franklin planner that comes out, and we set our big goals, and then we set our tasks, and then we prioritize our tasks, and boom, we go all the way down through that. And so then we have tasks. Well, tasks came out, and we still aren't accomplishing our goals. We're getting closer, but we're still not accomplishing our goals. So then what did we do? We decided that, oh, you know what? Let's throw a whole team and try to get these goals done. And we'll set up tasks and we'll make them responsible for one another. And we'll have all these ridiculous meetings and we'll go over and talk about all the things that we did and didn't get accomplished the week before. And we'll just kind of do it that way. Again, some people saw some success with that. And then you've seen a bunch of different systems come out to create these different sort of, to create these, oh, look, there's Ruth. Hi, Ruth. I'm just going to put your little slide. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Anyway, so then we started going through and doing all these goals and tasks and teams, and all this effort went into, and all these different software programs came out, and we still weren't accomplishing our goals. Ugh. Right? So what did the think tanks come back and try to come up with something else? And so then we started to talk about actions and this, that, and the other. Unfortunately for all of us, we've missed the point. And this is kind of the background of what I've come to over the years through entrepreneurship and through research is come to this. We have done ourselves a great disservice as we have grown up. And I am a dad, and I love my kids, and I love them more every day. And I have loved learning to teach them and to learn from them as they learned. It's been fascinating. And I watch how they learn. There's just something about watching a child learn that is so unbelievably refreshing. And so that became kind of what drew me into what is it about these kids, right? And so I think back to our Canyon is our oldest, and so he was our first, right? I love the whole idea of Carol and I were married literally 9 months when Canyon was born, right? So we got to work right out of the gate, and we have this little baby, and so we don't know each other. We haven't known each other very long. I think we dated for, oh boy. This is one of those situations, right, where if I get it wrong and it's live, oh dear. So we dated for a few months, 6 maybe? Oh God, 12? I don't know, somewhere in there. We dated for enough time. We've been married over 20 years. So whatever it was plenty of time to get to know her because we've made it this far. What in the world is that thing? Okay, so we got married. 9 months later, we have this baby. And as all of you who are parents know, the most frightening thing in the world is to go home. Hey, look at this. My daughter's watching. I guess I should say, hey, Anybody who thinks that I do this too much and should get off, raise their hand, and that would be my daughter raising her hand right there. So, okay, honey, I'm gonna go back to it. Love you. Okay. So as you watch these children, so we had our oldest boy, and they wheel the mom out, and you kind of go out, and they make sure you have a car seat, and we had a car seat. And then I didn't know how to work the car seat, but we had a car seat. We went in and put the baby in, and then we sat in the parking lot of the hospital, and we kind of looked at each other like, seriously? They're just going to let us drive away with this little person in the back? Because we have no idea what we're doing. And that's kind of, I'm going to get rid of my name. That's ridiculous. And so that's kind of, what you do as a parent. You are literally thrown into the deep end of the pool with a little person. Now, I'm the oldest of 7 children. So changing the diapers and doing all that, I get it, right? I had to do that to my younger siblings. Yes, I've seen all your bits and pieces, brothers and sisters, so whatever. So I had to go through that. So that part didn't really worry me, but everything else, like, how do you teach this person to become a human being that actually contributes to society and is a good person that loves and gives and serves? And do you have to do anything to develop a sense of humor? Does it just come? I mean, do I have to help them pick a favorite color? I mean, I have no idea what to do as a parent at this point. And you go home with this little person, and we were terrified. Carol, I mean, bless her heart, she's the most loving person you'll ever meet in your life. She literally just wouldn't put the baby down. So Canyon kind of went with her everywhere. He slept with us. I mean, we didn't know what to do. Fortunately for us, we learned that he had a bunch of different cries, right? And he kind of got his message across to us. So he had a cry when his diaper was messy. He had a cry when he was hungry. He had a cry when he was just ticked off and tired. And he was a colicky baby, so he had a lot of cries. But we just kind of learned through experience with this little person how to work with him. And it was so fascinating then to watch him grow and learn to talk and learn to crawl and get a turnover, right? I mean, we freaked out when he turned over. Every little thing he did was so exciting and so wonderful. Well, I believe, folks, that is where we make a huge mistake as we get to be adults. And I remember going through and watching Canyon learn to crawl, walk, and actually with all my kids, Tacey, every one of them, I remember as they were going through these little processes, any little effort they put forth, we would cheer on. We were so excited for them, right? We'd be like, oh, first step. Now they may fall over on their head and crack it open or whatever, but that first step we applauded as they pulled themselves up on the couch. We said, that is so great. No, I didn't have the little black couch then, but maybe for Tacey I did. Maybe Tacey pulled herself up on the little black couch. But so we had all these really cool learning experiences. Now, these little people didn't have a checklist. These little people didn't have goals. These little people had no idea what they were doing. They were just looking around and observing, and whatever we encouraged, they tried to do more. That's how we learned as kids. We learned to be rewarded for effort. It was never the outcome. It was never the goal. I didn't sit there and tell Canyon, hey, buddy, when you finally take a step and can walk over and give me a Mountain Dew and bring it back to me, then I'll tell you that you're awesome. But until then, forget it, buddy. And you walk like a newborn deer. You're terrible at it. No, we were so encouraging and so just amazed by all these little things that these people did when they tried to sound out words, when they were reading. All of this stuff was just so fascinating. When they came out and said, my favorite color is blue, it was like, awesome. Great. Blue's a great color. Every little thing, every little effort, every little decision, all of that, we absolutely poured on encouragement. And then there's a point, right, when that changes. And it shouldn't, but it does. And it's wrong that it does, but it does. That the encouragement sort of started to slow. Right? We stopped encouraging effort, and we changed our approach to you don't get the attaboy till the bed's made. You don't get the attaboy until the garbage is on the street. Not when you just sit up and go start gathering the bags. That's not good enough anymore. It's got to be on the street. You don't get encouraged for doing your homework but you better have an A on the report card. And then I will offer you some encouragement and some attaboys. So we screw up, people. Okay. And it's not that we only just do it to our kids. We do that to our kids because somewhere along the line it was done to us. And then our idea of getting better became, I do not deserve any sort of credit. I do not deserve to celebrate until I accomplish something. And if I don't accomplish it, I deserve to be upset with myself. We have screwed up, folks. We have got it wrong. We need to get back to really the only way to be an entrepreneur and do it successfully. Yes, you want to have goals. Yes, you want them to be specific. Yes, you want to picture them and you want to get them done. Yes, you want to develop tasks to help you move towards that particular goal. But I would suggest to all of you, and that's kind of what this, the Little Black Couch will be focused on that forever, is helping all of us get to a place where we are better at being present with what we are doing, and we are better at rewarding ourselves for our efforts. And there is a process to do that, where you can get a whole lot better at it. And when you do get better at making sure that you notice and are happy with your effort and give yourself some kudos for that effort, you will start learning again like you did as a child, where just the effort becomes what's rewarded. You will also find that tasks get done more easily and that goals are accomplished more readily. It's the effort, not the outcome. But the outcome comes with the effort. And the outcome comes, our kids never got discouraged when they were learning to walk because we always put the encouragement on the effort, not the outcome. That's my message today. Take a look in your life, look back. When you are trying to accomplish something big and huge and important, yes, set up your tasks, do all that. But if you decide tomorrow morning that you want to start running and that's your big new goal, that you want to get in shape, then one, tell yourself that it was awesome that you made that decision, because it was. Some thought went into that. And then when you set your alarm for 6 a.m., give yourself some credit for setting that alarm and taking that step, right? Encourage yourself, get a dopamine hit, learn really how to notice what you are putting your effort into. And if you get really good at rewarding the effort that's getting you closer to the thing that you want to accomplish, you will be in a much better state of mind to start accomplishing things, because it's awesome the whole way. You're not waiting to congratulate yourself. So hopefully that makes some sense. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody. Leave some comments for me. Let me know. Follow us here on Facebook. We've also got an Instagram page that's going now, and this will be up on YouTube later. So until next time, thank you for joining me from the comforts of the Little Black Couch. Until next time, I'll let you, goodbye.